I'm like, where the heck is my cursor? Come on. Now we're just waiting on the web page to load so I can start working. Oh, you son of a gun. Son of a gun. Alright, looks like we're good. Yeah, get this out of the way. Alright. So we're starting out with birch. Just gotta make my text. Alright, so we're going to be cutting out Scottish spindles today. Actually, we're going to be cutting out Turkish spindles today. Because it seems like the right thing to do. Alright. So we're going to start up by cutting some birch. This is 5/8 inch thick birch. Hey guys, welcome in. So you get a very nice finish right off the scroll saw. So right now I'm just breaking down the board. Yeah, so we put down the blue tape and then we glue the patterns to the tape. So we're basically making a sticker. So when we're done, we can just pull the sticker off. Alright, so we're going to switch the blade out. This blade was on here when I sat down. I have no idea how old it is. So we're going to be putting on a PS Wood Super Sharp. These are number 7. They're a very aggressive blade. They are not a reverse tooth blade, so the bottom will have a little bit of tear out. That's okay. start off by cutting out the little birch. So the big thing is don't force the wood through here, you know? You gotta let the saw blade do its work. Now, like I said, I put on a very aggressive blade, which allows me to cut at a pretty good speed with this birch. This stuff is hard. Got that little bit of fuzziness. Not a big deal because we're going to be sanding it out anyway. We just made an $11 sale on Etsy. Pretty exciting. Alright, so I'm just laying out the mortise. So we're going to be cutting out a rectangular hole out of the center. That's one of the nice things about the scroll saw. You can make internal cuts. Right? It's pretty amazing. I've been on the CNC machine all day today. So this is the first time I've been sitting down. I've been on the CNC machine. I was turning some top whirls, and then I was laser engraving. So I was actually doing other things today. But the CNC machine's kind of loud. Yeah, she's a tiny one. Plenty more in there if you want to swap it out. Alright, so yeah, we don't normally do many birch, so we are going to label them so we don't get them mixed up once we start going to the next step. So when I was cutting out here, I'll grab some examples. So I was making these on the CNC machine today. So after they got cut out, I put them on the lathe and rounded them and sanded them all. So this one actually gets a sublimated disc that goes into there to make it solid. And then these get laser engraved on the top. So they could have the same design on. One would just be a color picture, the other would just be laser engraved. So I made like 2 dozen of each. So when I use tabs because I don't have a vacuum table. So to cut the tabs off, I was over on the other scroll saw, on the buck tool, just because it's closer to the CNC machine. Zip tie. It's like, what's that noise? My zip tie. See if that's enough. Hey, much better. Yep, so by putting that painter's tape down first, we don't have any residual glue to deal with. So we got some birch. I believe we got some cherry. We got some purple heart coming up as well. Hello, M. How's it going? Welcome in. So my shaft material is supposed to be here tomorrow. They had a tremendous turnaround time. We just ordered it a couple days ago. Sometimes it's like a day or two, sometimes it's 2 weeks. And I get it. There we go. Hey Nader, how's it going? Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've got so the shaft material for these spindles, and then I got some more cherry and hard maple to make Russian supported spindles. Yeah, I use the CNC machine for the top whorls. For these, I cut them out by hand. You know, I'd be using a 1/4-inch end mill, so just the amount of material that I'd be using. I'm not saying eventually I won't, but for right now, it's just faster doing it this way. I'm able to nest them tighter together. And I think people appreciate the fact that they're handmade. Six. You say so, Rocco. I got one more little one. And then as far as the birch goes, got 4 big ones, 4 standards. Yeah, so right now the CNC machine, I cut a lot of sheet stock with it. So I'm using Baltic birch plywood primarily. So it's something I can set up and let it do its thing while I'm doing other things like this. Except for it's kind of loud. So I did get DeWalt makes a very quiet shop vac. It's like half the volume of normal shop vacs. I have that, and then I have a Spindle, but it's still loud because you hear the wood getting machined. But yeah, it's like similar to the laser engraver or the 3D printers. So we're just verifying the holes are centered. Alright, now we're some bigger ones. So I am running my saw off a foot pedal that allows me to turn the saw on and off with both of my hands on the work. Oh, I wish. Just remember, heavy petting does not make you popular, but it doesn't hurt. I am trying my best not to quote, who was it? Oh, I could see it now. The dude that he's a potter. Smokes a lot of stuff. God, what the heck is his name? Yeah. The guy who wrote Superbad. Seth Rogen, right? Lovin', yeah. Oh yeah? My partner's not gonna make it. Huh? You're not gonna make it. You can go watch TV, sack out on the couch for, about a half hour. Yep, so this is my day job. Normally making it with Scott's about projects. I just did a scroll saw review a couple days back. But I have been live streaming quite a bit. We're in the holiday rush right now, so we're just trying to knock out as much as we can. peel off the pattern. All ready for sanding. What's that? What about it? Yeah, the reason it's up there is so I can see how many people are in the chat room.
Ah, okay.
And I can see the chat.
So that's not when they see that.
No, they see the whole thing.
Okay, cool. Good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Here.
I see.
So that's what they see.
I gotcha.
It fills up the whole phone and everything. Is it working? All right. Yeah, the girlfriend is wondering, so I'm monitoring the chat, or lack thereof, on a computer screen behind the saw. And then she also has a monitor, and, well, went a little monitor crazy. So she was making sure that you see more than just that. That's enough to let me know that everything's running, and then I can see the chat and see how many people are in the room. So she's got a monitor there, and then it's also there, and then there's one behind me as well. Just to cover, you know, where we typically work. Sorry about that. So when we're working during the day, we'll have music playing, or we'll have some TV show playing in the background. Ah, the wonders of being self-employed. Hey, how's it going, Dennis? And I'm just gonna say D, and I don't want to slaughter your name too bad. Welcome in. So we're gonna be on the scroll saw, just cutting out some Turkish-style spindles today. So we're just trying to finish up the day strong. Get some stuff made. Alright, I got one more big one, and then We'll see. Hey, 408, welcome in. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I don't think so, Tom. Hey, GBL, how's it going? GBI? L. I don't know, if it was AI, I'd probably have 7 or 8 fingers. Ooh, pizza. Hey Marcel, how's it going? And I think tonight I'm going to be making a tofu stir fry. We do that about once a week. It's really good. And then we got a seafood boil as well that probably have tomorrow. Alright. So this is what they look like when they're done. And they're used to spin yarn. So you change this stuff into yarn. Hey, how's it going, eh? And these are Turkish style. There's a bunch of different sizes and shapes. And yeah, we were. Alright, so let's see, Sausage King. What kind of scroll saw are you rocking there? This is a 21-inch Pegasus. You got yours off the curb, and worried the neighbors are going to beat me for all the noise it makes. Yeah. Sometimes lubrication is your friend, and sometimes you're just really, really loud. Yeah, so this is what came before spinning wheels. I just did a review of Buck Tool, a 16-inch scroll saw. That's about $350 US. It's not a bad saw. There's a 22-inch Bauer at Harbor Freight that's pretty good. You know, it's like $280, but if you get the extended warranty, they're like $10 difference. So yeah, this one is a little over $1,000 new. But yeah, this is more of a professional. This is what I do a lot of production work on. This is also built in the 80s. You know, there's a lot of Hagner saws. They're orange from the 80s that are still really good. And I have reviews for both the Bauer and the Buck Tool saw on my page. What's that?
This should be a little better. It's not quite as loud.
Yeah, without the... Okay, that's fine. We got about a half hour, so if you want to go watch TV or...
Holy shit.
And I totally get it. I was made in the 70s and I make a lot of noise too. Lots of creaks. cracking and popping, gas leaks.
Right? Sucks getting old.
It does. Yeah, I like Turkish. You know, it's the fact that when you're done, you pull the shaft out, the arms come apart, and you already have a center pull ball, so you don't have to wind off to anything else or make a lazy Kate for your top whirls. All right. So next up, we have some cherry here. So these are the model is called a glider. The other ones are standards. So the glider has more of a handlebar mustache kind of shape to it. Yep, we're making the thingies that you can wrap string around, or you could make yarn, one or the other. All right, so this is a 1/2 inch thick, and it's cherry. It smells wonderful. So I am using some super sharp blades. They're made by PS Wood machines. They're a very aggressive blade. They're expensive, but they do such a good job. What's that? Okay. Right. How do I decide what wood you want? I use whatever wood Vicky gives me. So the different wood types will give you different weights as well. So cherry's got a nice weight to it, but it's not overly heavy. And then these will actually be less expensive than the exotic wood ones. So it kind of gives it another scale. Some people just want a tool. Other people want really pretty wood. So it's to try to accommodate both. Hey, Rad, how's it going? Welcome in. Nice. All right. So the question is, do you have the STH to show that you're already done? Hey, Raphael. Hey, Dick, how's it going? Yeah, it's a very aggressive blade. So as far as the spinning goes, you can do a little spinning. I do want to work, but... So the first thing you do is you take off the part that you already have plied. Yeah, it's a super aggressive blade. Does a good job, though. Normally, I'd be cutting these out with either a number 7 Nikwa blade or a Flying Dutchman, or their Ultra Reverse, or an Olsen Mach Speed. All right, so I'm spinning the spindle, and then with my hands, I'm drafting. So I'm defining the thickness of the yarn and how much twist is going into it. So it's spinning down there. So we spin a length, and then we're going to store it on the spindle. So I'm going to go over 2 arms, under 1. Just going to repeat that pattern. And then just keep repeating that. And then when we're done, the shaft comes out, the arms come out, and then you have a center pull ball. So that's what we're making today. So, hey Blue Wolf, how's it going? Sure. Not a problem. I'm making a living. I am not retired. I am 50. I've been making these full time for a little over 12 years now. I worked in factories for almost 20 years. So my last job before this, I was an assembler on a vehicle line, an assembly line. They finished up a government contract, and then they laid a bunch of people off. I think I made it to, I was there 6 years. I made it to the third round of layoffs. And when I got laid off, I was making these for a couple months prior to that. So I decided, hey, I can try doing this, or I could go get another job. So, hey Maria, how's it going? Welcome in. Yeah. They did call me back about a year after I was laid off. And they gave me 2 days notice. Come to work in 2 days, otherwise you don't have a job. So I didn't think that was very nice. I, would have given 2 weeks notice if I was anywhere else. So how do I copy the images onto the wood? So we print the patterns out on just copy paper, and then we use spray adhesive, and we glue it to the blue painter's tape. So we put the painter's tape down first, then we just use a spray adhesive. So we basically made a sticker. Yeah. OEM inline and off track. Very nice. Yeah, I worked for Oshkosh Truck. So, lots of military vehicles, cement trucks, big snow plows for like international airports. What was the attack time on the line? So my line was, well, it depended on what they were pushing out and how many people they had. But it was constantly moving assembly line. It's usually about 20 minutes per truck, unless they got a... Unless they wanted to try to prove something. Yeah. Have a good day. Yeah. So I'm much happier doing this. As much fun as union jobs are, it's just a fight with the company versus the union, and the company doesn't care about the contract. And they were so backed up with complaints that, you never get any resolution to anything. So. But, we were also Making huge vehicles as well. It all depends on how many people are on the, each station and when they did the rebalancing and whatnot. Yep, thank you. Yep, this is a Pegasus scroll saw. So this is a 21-inch saw, so between the blade and the back, it's 21 inches. But I'm cutting little 6-inch, 8-inch long things, so. So besides, just blowing it out and making sure all the bolts are tight on it, there's really no maintenance on the saw. So I bought the saw in 22. So we're about 3 years in and not a problem with it. Eventually there's a lot of bearings in this thing. A lot of needle bearings in it. Those will eventually need to be replaced, but hopefully you can get a couple more years out of it before you have to stick any money into it. Which isn't a big deal. I have multiple backup saws, so if something happens. Hey, Looms, how's it going? Welcome in. Watch from New Zealand? Very nice. Home of Ashford and Majacraft. And Josh is also from Nigeria. I'm not sure about any fiber arts related businesses in Nigeria, but there might be. So yeah, we're trying to get through the holidays right now as far as the business goes. Um, and then we're gonna have to start building up inventory. We have a festival in North Carolina in March. And then I also have, I believe it's 5 spinning wheels that are all made by the same manufacturer that I need to fix fix them. So I have a lot of bobbins coming up after the holidays to get them up and running. Hey George, how's it going? Welcome in. Yeah, so today I got to babysit the CNC machine for most of the day. So it was like every time I started a different job, if I was making the same thing several times, once the first time it runs, then you're like, okay, it's fine. When you switch jobs, I tend to babysit them a little bit more. So spindles are used for making yarn. So this is what came before spinning wheels. So the cool part is, you can take this little thing, throw it in a project bag with you, and you can spin yarn on the go. When you bring a big spinning wheel to a car dealership, people take pictures, and then you end up as a meme. So see, George has 3 scroll saws. Very nice, and you love them. Awesome. So yeah, this is my main scroll saw. This is a Pegasus. And then I have the 22-inch Bauer from Harbor Freight. And then Buck Tools sent me the 16-inch scroll saw to do a review on. So yeah, I got 3 of them sitting here. And then I got a little 16-inch Craftsman on the floor. And that's how many scroll saws I have in this room. There's only one magazine. Is that creative? I don't even know the name of it. Well, there used to be, 2 or 3? We're down to 1. Yeah, as long as we got Steve good, we'll be okay. Yeah, so a lot of the videos I have are introductory, very beginner scroll saw videos. Um, yeah, I really dig the scroll saw. It's an underappreciated tool. So the reason I am cutting out the center like that and just not going er, er, is I want to have nice crisp corners. And if I just go around, they'd be rounded over. So, there's one thing a CNC machine can't do, and that's make a 90-degree corner. Everything's rounded over because you're using a cylindrical bit. So, there we go. So this is cherry. This is 5/8 of an inch thick. So it's a little bit thicker. This is Rekoff, which is Dutch for fawn. So this size here I came up with like 12 years ago. It's kind of in somewhat retirement. I don't make a whole lot of them. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just not a very popular size. I do have one wholesaler who buys them occasionally, so they're still out there. Hey, Redwood. Yeah, this saw's going at quite a clip. We have a very aggressive blade in there right now. A lot of people just associate scroll saws with like very inexpensive ones that take pinned end blades and so we are making drop spindles. These are Turkish style drop spindles for spinning yarn. So it's a post-apocalyptic life skill. This is one that I've been spinning on. So you take this floof, which is wool, and then you can spin it into yarn. And then the next step would be to ply that to make cabled yarn, to make it a little bit thicker and stronger. So next up we have some purple heart. I'm going to turn the speed down. I don't want to. Purple heart burns really easily. Oh, it is not digging that blade at all. So, we're going to swap that out for we'll do a number 7 Nikwa Ultra Reverse. See how that does. Nice thing about the Nikwa blades or the Flying Dutchman blades, they have a crimp on the top. So you know which side's the top. Especially when you get into the really tiny blades. It's kind of hard to see what's up or down. This is a pretty big blade, but once you start getting... Yeah, I've been using scroll saws since like 1987. So, yeah, these little blades here. It's very hard to see which way the blade is going. You can rub your finger on it, you know. On these saws, you always want to cut on the downstroke. So you're pushing the wood down onto the table. If you put the blade on upside down, you'll know because it will want to chatter. All right, let's see how this blade is going to handle it. Oh, much better. So with this, we're going to keep the we're going to keep the wood moving. If we stop, it's going to burn a line into the purple heart. So I have to pause, so I'm backing up. Let's see, Joyce. You love watching you custom Mexican designs for a party and had fun doing them? Awesome. Yeah, you can do a lot with these saws. So I paused there for a second. It didn't burn in, but you can see where that line is. If I would have let it sit much longer. So purple heart will turn brown, and then once it has heat or UV exposure, it'll turn purple. So this is very light right now. But once it gets some UV, that color will get really dark purple. We'll take this pattern off. All right, we're going to finish this one up, and then we're going to call it a stream. I promised the girlfriend that we could leave at 5:30. Normally leave at 5, but we got a late start today. But she gave up. She's in the front room watching TV right now. So I do need to make dinner, though. right, so we're just going to cut out this mortise. Give her a test fit. So I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in watching live streams, I really don't have a set schedule. Your best bet would be to subscribe and click the bell. And then if I'm coming on too much and you don't want to watch it, you can just unclick the bell. It's amazing. We're going to get through the holiday season, and then we're going to start making a bunch of videos. I just don't want to dump out a bunch of Christmas videos, making the same thing that everybody else is making. When I make projects, I want to make them where you learn a skill or practice a skill, just not making the same thing every week. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully we'll catch you next time. Have a great day, guys. And remember to spin fast so you can die warm.